Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is CV Harris. Welcome back to the Monday SITREP. I know we kind of skipped last week, and I apologize for that. Hopefully we can make up for that this week. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's been happening since the last time we had a SITREP. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous how much is going on in the world of our country as far as, shootings going on. We have a presidential candidate who basically is being treated differently than other people because she's getting away with committing crimes and nobody's doing anything about it. It's crazy. The world is upside down, it feels like. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton and the FBI probe that took place. She was found as far as being completely negligent. Grossly negligent, I believe is what it was. Lack of care, lack of understanding, lack of protecting of classified material. Spending time in the military and even now outside of the military as a contractor working for the military, security clearance is an important thing. Absolutely, you can't function sometimes, especially in the military or as a contractor to the military. You can't function without a security clearance for whatever it is that you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that, everybody in the military needs to have a top secret and, an SCI type of clearance, but there are some people who do. And if you have that clearance, I promise you, you know what your responsibility is because you are told all the time, required annually, that you be briefed on what your requirements are and what your responsibilities are as far as maintaining the security of classified material. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. People often mistakenly leave classified material out. I assume that sometimes people intentionally do things wrong. It happens. But for the most part, people understand their responsibility when it comes to classified material and do the right thing. And if they do the wrong thing, it's usually mistakes, unintentional mistakes. But I'm thinking that, if the FBI does a probe and says that it was completely negligent, grossly negligent, that's more than a mistake. That's more than just, I was working on some classified material, a piece of paper fell on the floor, I forgot, didn't pick it up, didn't check, didn't get locked up in the safe at night. It's a little bit more than that. We're talking about transferring classified materials from a classified network to an unclassified computer network and then transmitting that via email. That's more than just an oopsie, okay? That is, that's beyond that. And I can tell you from seeing what has happened to people in the past, losing security clearance is probably the least that I've seen happen. I mean, that's just for people who made a mistake. Losing their security clearance, being criminally prosecuted, for military members being court-martialed. All of these things happen for not securing and not maintaining the security of classified materials. All the time this happens. So is there a double standard? I would say, yeah, I would definitely say that there is. Even high-ranking officials get in trouble for this, okay? High-ranking military officials all the time. I'm not going to name names, but there was a large security check, an exercise that was being done at a base I was stationed at, and a high-ranking enlisted, an E9, was found to have he had the combination to his safe, basically on a piece of paper under his keyboard. Okay, he did not have classified material out, but he did have access to that out. So he had made it easy for somebody to possibly get into his safe. Now, what happened to him? As an E9, basically he was forced into retirement over this. He was given the choice of, well, we can pursue this criminally, or you can quietly fade away. I'm getting the feeling that Hillary Clinton is not quietly fading away, but possibly that should happen. So, let's move on and let's talk about some of the other things. Let's talk about some of the police shootings that have been taking place. Now, I know this is huge. This is a big deal. It is causing uproar and it's causing a lot of violence and a lot of protests across the country. So let's talk about these. The first one that I want to talk about is the one in Fresno, where basically we have a situation that appears to be, anyway, pending an investigation, it appears to be a suicide by cop. We have a person who is pulled over being very standoffish, not responding to police officers, not cooperating, keeping a hand hidden behind his back the whole time. Basically gets out of the car, starts walking away again, keeping a hand hidden from police officers, saying that he wants to die, turning towards police officers, finally walking towards them, again with a hand in the waistband. If all of these things bear out to be true, what we have is a situation where a person wants to commit suicide but doesn't want to commit suicide, if you know what I mean. They don't have the I guess the guts to go through with it. I'm not trying to to say that they're cowardly or anything like that, but they don't want to do it themselves. For some reason, there's something that's holding them back from doing it themselves, and they want somebody else to do it for them. Now, this is a cry for help. Absolutely, it is a cry for help. But can you fault the police officers for wanting to protect themselves? Because I can't. I can't fault them for that. It's a tough thing to armchair quarterback, a decision that was made on the scene, adrenaline's pumping. You have a guy who is suicidal. Well, guess what? Suicidal and homicidal, it's essentially the same thing. If he is that determined, he's not worried about killing somebody else either. So, hiding your hands and then advancing towards police officers, not responding to them, not doing what they're telling you to do when they tell you to stop, it's very difficult to judge those police officers for and say that they did anything wrong, because they ultimately at the end of their shift, they want to go home to a family. That's it. They want to go home. They want to stay safe. And you know what? It's tough to say that they did the wrong thing in this case. Now, I want to talk about a different circumstance completely. Let's talk about the Philando Castile situation. So what we have in this one is very well documented, because in this case, I'm going to call him a victim. His girlfriend was filming it. Now, again, we're waiting for an investigation, but if what she says is true, that he had said that, he had a handgun, he had a permit, and he was going to retrieve that permit when he was shot. That's tough. If that is the case, then absolutely, the police officer should be charged. I understand police officers, they're human. They do the wrong thing. They're human. There's some of them that aren't good people. There are more police officers, they want to do the right thing. But again, they're human. There are going to be people who get into doing that because they want the power. Okay, so yes, there are police officers who are bad, just like there are construction workers who are bad. There are clergy members who are bad. There are teachers who are bad. There are always going to be people in every walk of life who make poor decisions and do the wrong thing, and do it because they want personal gain. It's going to happen. So, if in this case it comes to light that this is exactly what happened, that he was a concealed carry permit holder, he was trying to retrieve his ID when he was shot and killed, absolutely police officers should be charged with murder, because this is uncalled for. It is not okay. Black, white, doesn't matter. I know that race is being made, it's a big deal to some people, and it's being made up to be a big deal in the media, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, he was a human being who was wrongly killed by a police officer, somebody who was supposed to be there to protect him and didn't, failed at that duty, and in fact caused that death. So now let's talk about the Dallas shootings, the shootings of police officers in Dallas. There were 12 shot, 5 dead by a gunman who absolutely hated the police, hated white people. It comes out he was in the Army Reserves. He did serve in Afghanistan. So training was there. I'm not going to say that every person in the military is an amazing shooter and they understand everything, but you know what? They have at least some tactical training. Okay, they have an understanding of slicing the pie. They have an understanding of concealment and cover, and to use that against someone else for, I guess, your own hatred is just despicable, if you ask me. And it shows where we've come to, what we've come to in this world. And there's a lot of people casting blame at different things, casting blame at an inanimate object, at a firearm. They're saying that the firearm is the problem. People saying that the NRA is a terrorist organization and they're causing this. There are so many people just casting blame all over the place. Now, the last time I checked, especially in the military, a leader is responsible ultimately for what happens on his watch. And so I put it on the leadership of this country, who has really led this to be a divided country, because that's what it feels like. It feels like we are not united. We are not United States. We're divided. We're divided along religious boundaries. We're divided along political beliefs. We're divided along race. We're divided along cultural, and even states divided against other states. Holy cow, what is going on? And it is happening for political gain. It is happening for ratings on the news. All of these things are being done to us, and we're allowing it to happen. There was a time in this country when, you may not get along with your neighbor, but if something happened to him, you helped him out. And that is not the case these days. At least that's what it seems like. I hope we can get back to that. And it starts with every individual. That's the only way to get back to it. And just not allowing the media and not allowing our political leaders to tell you that you believe a certain way. Not allowing them to tell you that it's race. Not allowing them to tell you that you should hate another religion. Not allowing them to tell you to hate another race or another person for whatever reason that makes you guys different. We have something that makes us the same. We're human beings. We're American citizens. Why can't that unite us? I don't know. I hope we can get back to that. So anyway, let's get on and let's talk about the life or death files. We're going to talk about a 17-year-old who she protected herself using a firearm. Okay, so this is a 17-year-old. Her name is Faith Skilkett, and she was home alone. Her mother was at work, and around 2 in the afternoon, her dog started barking, and she went to investigate, and there was a man knocking at the door. She got a little scared, and he starts, kind of jiggling the handle, and he goes a couple of different places trying to get in the house. She runs through the house, locks as many doors as she can, but he's able to get into the garage. And when he starts trying to come from the garage into the house, she goes and retrieves a handgun and basically yells at him through the door that she has a gun and that she's going to shoot him if he doesn't back off. He takes off. He does get away with some items from the garage, but she is okay. And that's really ultimately the gist of this story, is that, yes, we have a right to protect our things. But in this case, it's better for, some stolen items out of the garage. It's better for that than for this girl to, who knows what would have happened. It was a scary thing for her, obviously. She's 17. She could have been raped. She could have been killed. Both obviously could have happened. Kidnapped. Thankfully, that did not happen. So she is good, and all the items that were stolen, obviously, they can be replaced. She cannot. So I salute you, Faith. You did a great job. You used a firearm the way a good way that it can be used. Not necessarily, shooting somebody and killing them. Yes, that may become necessary, but in this case, I'm glad that she didn't, because she would definitely have to live with that for the rest of her life as well. Okay, so next on What's New, we're going to talk about something that's we're going to veer off from what we normally talk about, a lot of tactical stuff. We're going to talk about something for hunting.
So, what's new?
Okay, so new gun for 2016, and this is the Browning A5 Sweet 16. Now, I want to tell you guys a quick story. My grandfather, big into hunting, really liked his guns. That's probably where I get it from. But he had a 16 gauge shotgun while I was growing up. I loved that thing. You know, when I was a kid, you know, probably in the ages between 10 and 12, a 12 gauge was just, it was a little bit too much for me. I didn't have a 20 gauge. My grandfather didn't have one of those, but he had a 16 gauge. And it was a very soft shooting, very, you know, manageable recoil. And I was able to use it. I was using it for pheasant, for duck, and it wasn't a problem for a 10 to 12-year-old, even up through, you know, my teenage years. It was a very manageable shotgun to use, and I like the fact that Browning is coming back with it. So this is a Browning A5, and it is 16 gauge. It has a 2 3/4 inch chamber, a 28-inch barrel. So yeah, it's kind of big. It's for hunting. So 4-round capacity. I would bet that there's going to be tubes available to extend that out if your state allows it for hunting. It has a beautiful walnut stock, and it's very lightweight. It is less than 6 pounds. It's about, I think it said that it was 5 pounds 13 ounces, so very lightweight. And it has a fiber optic front sight, so we're getting away from the bead on the front, going with a fiber optic. It is much easier to really snap to that picture, to see it, and to take your shots. I like fiber optic for shotgun. It is a very good option. In fact, I like it enough that I think I would take off a bead and put something like that on there. So check it out. It is the Browning A5 Sweet 16 shotgun. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. I know it was a little bit of a rant, and I apologize for that, but I needed to make up for and talk about all the stuff that's been happening for the last couple of weeks. So if you enjoyed the show, please like and share it. I always appreciate it when you guys do that. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to see more shows just like this one, click on that subscribe button down below and then come back next week for another Monday SITREP. Remember that your mind is your most important tool, and it is important that you are armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo out. Hey, I appreciate you guys sticking around. I'm glad you did. I need your opinion on some things, okay? Let me know what you guys think of the new studio. Everything, all the new set design, all the stuff. So other new things though that have happened is I'm on Instagram now. So be sure to check that out. I'm shooting for at minimum a new picture every week. I actually would like to do a picture every day. We're gonna see if that's gonna work out. But pictures from, you know, just to celebrate the tactical life, I guess. Second Amendment stuff, patriotic stuff, guns, gear, military training, lots of things like that going up there. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. That's the big thing. I appreciate all that you guys do. All you subscribers and viewers, I appreciate it. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I appreciate if you guys would leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the set. Again, be sure to stop by at the Instagram page and Facebook, as well as Google+. And until next time, take care and be safe.